So hello, I'm Kathrin Landa, or in German Kathrin Landa, and I'm a painter from Berlin. I studied in Leipzig at the Hochschule für Grafik and Buchkunst, Academy for Visual Arts in Leipzig. Yes, and I'm coming from the southern part of Germany, from the Lake of Constance, and then I studied in Leipzig painting, and 11 years ago I came to Berlin, and I live in Berlin. I have a daughter, and my studio is in Kreuzberg. Yeah, and what else can I say? I founded a lot of feminist stuff, as you know, I guess, because when I studied in Leipzig, I didn't realize the inequality between female and male artists, but as soon as I was finished with studying and I entered in the art market, I really recognized how unequal, or the inequality of the situation. And yeah, by the years I got a little bit angry about all those, about the situation. And I founded a network between Leipzig and Berlin. It's a female network. It's female painters of Leipzig and Berlin. And we are called Malerinnen-Netzwerk Berlin-Leipzig in German, or in English, Women Painters Network Berlin-Leipzig. Yeah, and this was my first step to change things, and then I did other things. I don't know, do you want me to tell them right now or later? Yeah, so I just continue. Yeah, and with this network we did a lot of shows in really important galleries and museums, and I think we changed already a lot, because I don't know if you heard about the New Leipzig School of Painters. No, it's like at the beginning of the years 2000, there was a big movement of painting in Leipzig, and it got really famous all over the world. People from New York, they came to Leipzig to buy this art. But the problem was, imagine, it was just men, female or male painters, only male, really, only male painters. And this, to realize the situation, was really hard as a female painter in Leipzig. And this is also a reason why I founded with other painters the female or the Women Painters Network Berlin-Leipzig. And this was in 2015. And since then, I have the impression that the situation in Leipzig really changed, which is not a big step, but a little step into a better situation, towards a better situation. Yeah, so this is one part of my, of my action. And I do this together with really strong painters, and the network is really like everybody is doing a lot for it, is curating. A lot of female painters are curating shows and are doing actions. So this is one part. At the moment, Tanja Seltzer, she's head of the network. For the first 4 years, when I founded it, it was me, the leader. but it's also very hard to lead a group for several years, and also I think it's good if there is a changement in leading a group. But it was a really interesting time for me. I did a lot of interviews and did a lot of newspaper articles. Okay. Yes, and then 2019 I founded another space. It's in Berlin. It's called Women Painters Room. So it's really an art space for international female painters to show their work. And I offer this place really to just women, or also people who feel like women, of course. This is important. Or non-binary people. I invite also to show their works. Oh, sorry, not their works, but just paintings. It's really focused on painting. And yeah, I have really good feelings about this project, because it has nothing to do with money, but just with supporting each other, with yeah, building networks, support other female painters, to give them some space and room. And for me, especially, this is really, it helped me so much in the last years, building, really also for me, building networks and have really good relationships to other women, female painters. Yeah, for me, as I already told, Leipzig was an important place where I developed my painting, the realistic painting, also influenced by the GDR, of course, of the history. And I do figurative painting because I lived and worked in Leipzig, so it was really important, Leipzig. But as I told you, there was this dominance of male painting, and so I got really political. I turned out to be really political, together with other painters. And then I changed and I went to Berlin, and I think Berlin is much more far in this situation. It's really international, a lot of different communities, and I got more independent in Berlin because it's so open, and at the same time it made me afraid, of course. It's so big and so different. But in Berlin I really discovered what I want and what I want to change, and I really got active. As I told you, I founded the female painter, women painters network, and the space, and the women painters room. So all this happened in Berlin. For me personally, it was, I lost everything. My reputation, my career was in Leipzig. I studied in Leipzig, I lived there, did you hear about the Spinnerei Gelände? There are a lot of artists, galleries, it was really a cool life. And then I went to Berlin, I didn't know anybody, and this different scenes, And it was in Berlin that I realized I have to build something, to create something, and I really realized I was really alone here at the beginning, and so I decided to build networks, to get to know a lot of other people. And now I have a quite good, I have a good network here in Berlin, and to be honest, this room, the Women Painters Room, is in a house where are living a lot of different peoples, and they really pass in my space and they are supporting me a lot, and this is also very funny. I think if you got active, people appreciate that and they'll support you. And yeah, as older as I get, as more I realize about how difficult this is in our society to be a woman. I cannot talk about like non-binary or queer people because I am not, but I guess they have the same problems. But as a woman, I realize how much you have to do, especially if you are a mother, if you have responsibility for family and for a career. You have it's much harder, in my opinion, to be a woman than a man. And as older as I get, it gets clearer for me, and I'm getting more focused on changing things as older as I get. Maybe also because I'm not afraid anymore to say something is wrong. And I have the impression that the most important thing in this movement is networking. Because, to be honest, I think men have this capacity, or this they learned how to network about centuries. They have good networks and they have good they know how to profit of each other, and they support each other, and this is really what women should learn more, to network better, but how should they didn't learn it about during centuries. It's something which started in our century, that women really support each other in a professional way. And this is why I appreciate this project so much. Herstory, it's so important, really, for changing things. This is why I take part in this project, because it's really this what should be, what should continue, and what should work better in female professional working situation. And what is also important for me is to talk about the role of painting, because, as you know, of course, it's your subject, really, but I think it's especially in painting, it's so old. The role of a female painter is so hard. I think it's harder than in other art mediums, because during centuries there were just work of male painters shown in museums. If you go, and even today, if you go to a museum, it's really almost male paintings, and this is why society, if they see a painting, they think, okay, if it's good, it's a male painter who did this, and this is it's so much in the head of people, because it's. I think it's mostly because of the museum situation. The museums are just full of male painting, and this is why I focused on this special point, supporting female painters, showing their work, for changing the opinion in society of female painting. But this is also because I come from painting. I studied in Leipzig. Painting is my life. So this is what I can change and where I can really start. This is the point where I can start changing things, of course. I try to speak to everybody, of course, especially to white, older men, because these, as we all know, these are mostly the persons who didn't realize that there is a new time beginning. So I think we should really talk to them, because you should reach hands to those people who have different opinions, and I try to reach them with my paintings and with my actions, because I think these people should be changed. And this is what I'm trying to do. I'm really doing shows, and I'm inviting mostly every part of society, because I'm a portrait painter, and as a portrait painter you do a lot of portraits of politicians, of people with power, and these are mainly older white men here in Germany. So I have a lot of contact to older, rich, powerful white men. And this is really good, because this is the point where I can start. I talk to them, I get to know them in my studio. They come to my studio. They are sitting there, and I'm painting them, and I'm talking a lot to them, and I go into their world, and they come in my world, and though we influence each other a lot. And I think when people leave my studio, maybe they change a little bit, and I change a little bit as well, because it's such an intense interaction. And maybe some people with power, they get a little bit a new view on life or not, but to be honest, they influence me as well in a good way. So this is these people I want to talk to, and of course I do collective stuff, as I already told you. I have this network, but as you know, collectives, how can I express myself? So it's a hard process to change things in a collective, because you all the time you have to do democratic elections in a network, and this process is really hard, but it's important. Of course, in networks it's important to talk to each other and to find solutions together, but it's also a little bit a tiring process. So I think you can do this work like 4 years, and no, 4 or 5 years, and then there has to be somebody else to manage this democratic processes in networks. I think this is the most difficult things in network, these different opinions, different ways of thinking about feminism. I guess you know this discussion. If you work with other women or non-binary or queer people, you discuss, you find ways to get out of difficult situations, and this is, yeah, I learned that this process is also important, but also very hard, to be honest, yeah. Of course, I'm a feminist. I think everybody should be a feminist, and who is not a feminist has a problem, in my opinion. I'm also surrounded by feminists. My male friends are all feminists. To be honest, I couldn't be a friend to men who are not feminists. This is important for me. And for example, my husband, he's a big feminist, really. And in all my male friends, they are doing a lot of stuff with their children. They are doing the householding. Like really 50% of they take responsibility of the children education, and this is a privilege. I'm surrounded by men who really do same work like female persons, but I know this is not the truth. This is not society. This is really something special, that I'm surrounded by these people, which I choose. And my mother, she has been a big feminist. Already in the 80s, she founded a group. You know, she was in a very small town in South Germany, really traditional, really old-fashioned, and there she founded, already in the 80s, a group which was called Women Help Women, Frauen helfen Frauen, and they built a house where women who are beaten could sleep. They really they talked a lot about how not to get pregnant to young girls, and which seems in our days really basic stuff, but in the 80s in South Germany it was like doing war or something, really something big. And I think this is this is the source of my feminist way, my mother, but also my father, because already in the 80s he took a lot of responsibility when I was like until I was 3 years old, it was him who did the education thing, who stayed at home, and my mother, she worked as a teacher, which was like really unnormal during the 80s. And this influenced me, of course, until today. Without my mother, I don't know how feminist I would be, to be honest. Yeah, She influenced me so much, and yeah, I want to fight